In this, we'll see the most helpful thing to make our system secure, especially networking secure, is cryptography. Cryptography is nothing but the art of secrets. Cryptology is a terminology that you use for the art of breaking the secrets. So cryptography is the art of making the secrets. Cryptology is the art of breaking the secrets. Okay, that is what the difference. So cryptography is especially used for providing the or assuring the five pillars that we have discussed in the previous lecture. That is confidentiality, integrity, authentication, availability, and non-repudiation. So in cryptography, these are the various commonly used terminologies that will come across in the cryptography methods. Plain text or clear text is the text that you write on the normally. Ciphertext is the one that you will find after encrypting the plain text. Okay. So whatever the encryption you make after encrypting the plain text, that you will get this thing. Next is algorithms. Algorithms are the one which will tell you how to perform the encryption and how to perform the decryption. Keys are the security keys that will be generated and used for the encryption and decryption. Message digester is the output of the cryptographic hash function. Signature is the signature is a thing that you will get for the non-repudiation purpose. That means this signature will be generated with the help of the message digest and the security keys. That we'll see afterwards how this particular message digest, signature, and security key, and all these things will come into how it will be used in the cryptography. So the terms in cryptography: plain text or clear text, which means, for example, uh, this is a message. So this is the plain text, right? This is the plain text. So in order to convert into ciphertext, in order to convert into ciphertext, so plain text will be XORed. Okay, plain text will be XORed with a key. Then you will get a ciphertext. Okay, that means here plain text. For example, key may be generated randomly. Say for example, the key may be like this: 1 star 3 star 2 and something. Or you may take whatever the key you want, some long key like 9 8 3 6 5 1 1 1 1 0 0 like that. You can take whatever the key you want. Okay, this key plus plain text key, okay, key is XOR with plain text. So how it will be XORed? It may be done linearly. That is key XOR key. Okay. Next character. What is the next character? H XOR the key. Next I XOR key. Next S XOR key. So what is XOR? XOR means exclusive OR operation. Okay. In the digital logic design, you might have studied the exclusive OR operation. So then you will get some junk character. So you cannot understand what is that character. Okay, you cannot understand what is the character is. So like that, So this T H I S space will also be XORed. I S space A space message. So this entire thing will be XORed. Each and every character will be XORed with the key that you have selected. Once it was done, then you will get some junk like this, some junk like this. That means this plain text will be converted into non-understandable form. This is called ciphertext. Now at the receiving end, receiver at the receiving end, this ciphertext will be taken, and each character of the ciphertext, each character of the ciphertext, okay, is again XORed with the key with which you have performed the encryption. Then you will get the original key. For example, T. Like that, the next character, okay, again you perform the XOR operation, you will get the original character. So thereby, the next character, say for example here, in case of here, the first character may be like this. The first character may be D and XORed with the key, and then you may get T. N XORed with key, you may get H. Then A XORed with some the key that what you have selected, you may get I. So like that, you will get the original key or original message. But during the transit, if anyone listen to this, either spoof it or sniff it, either you may use Wireshark, you may get it, but you cannot get what is the original message. Okay, so this is what being called a confidentiality. Confidentiality is only the intended receiver can read the particular message. How intended receiver can read the message? By performing the decryption activity with each character XORed with the key. Okay, so this is what being called the encryption and decryption. So if you use if same key is used for both encryption and decryption, then it is said to be symmetric key encryption or decryption, symmetric key cryptography. So here symmetric means whatever key you use for the encryption, the same key you will use for the decryption also. Okay. Where in case of asymmetric key encryption or cryptography, okay, for encryption you will use one key, and for decryption we will use another key. That is what is called asymmetric. This asymmetric is also to be public key cryptography. Public key cryptography. Okay, so that is what the terminologies that we will use in the cryptography. So cryptography is the art of secrets. Cryptology is the art of breaking the secrets. In cryptography, plain text means the original text or clear text that what you want to communicate. Ciphertext is the text that is XORed, okay, with the key on the original text. Then you will get the ciphertext. At the receiving end, the ciphertext you will get after the encryption. At the receiving end, if you perform the same reverse operation of the encryption with the key, then you will get the plain text. Then this is said to be decryption. If you use same key for both encryption and decryption, then it is said to be symmetric key cryptography. If you use different keys for the encryption and decryption, then it is said to be asymmetric key cryptography, or also said to be public key cryptography. So far we have seen the plain text, clear text, ciphertext, algorithms, keys, and a message digest. Message digest we'll see afterwards, and signatures also we'll see afterwards. So we have seen symmetric key algorithms. Here symmetric key means same key will be used for the encryption and decryption. Here are some examples of the symmetric key algorithms. Data encryption standard, which uses the 56-bit key. So what is this 56-bit key? That means we have seen a key which is having some length. Okay, that means that length, that means how many bits that particular key is composed of, is the length of the key. In cryptography, as the length of key increases, it is very difficult to break the encryption. That is what the main idea in the cryptography. So that is the reason people try to use lengthy keys for encryption, so that it is very difficult for decryption by the intruder, or maybe eavesdroppers, or maybe any other attacker. So the strength of the encryption depends upon the length of the key. That is in general idea. So here 56-bit key will be used. It is simply like, for example, if you might have set a password of 3 letters or 4 letters. So by making the combinations by spending some time, I can easily crack that particular password. But if you set the password of 16 characters length, 20 characters length, with the various varieties of characters, such as the numbers, symbols, or many other things, then it is very difficult for us to guess the password. So like that, as the length of the key increases, the security strength also increases. This is the one general opinion in the cryptography. So the data encryption standard is a symmetric key algorithm that uses the 56-bit key. Triple data encryption standard, in which we will make 3 rounds of same encryption algorithm, so which uses the 168-bit key, and Blowfish is 448-bit key, and optimization for this optimized for the 32-bit and 64-bit architectures. And one more thing you remember, we may use any length of the key for encryption and decryption purpose, but however your computer hardware should also support that particular encryption decryption activity, because if your computer is of 64-bit architecture, that means 2 power 64-bit length of key can be bearable. That means it can handle that. Where in case of 32-bit means 2 power 32-bit length can be handled. So like that, depends upon your computer. You are supposed to use the length of the key. And also the encryption and decryption activities will consume more energy. If you are working with the wired networks, it is okay, because the power supply, regular power supply will be there. But if you are working on the mobile computers or like laptops, or maybe on the mobile phones, there your applications must use an efficient encryption algorithms. Otherwise, what will happen, for encryption and decryption purpose itself, the battery energy will be drained. So that is one thing you are supposed to understand. Next one is International Data Encryption Standard, IDEA, which is a popular application in the Pretty Good Privacy (PGP) algorithm, and RC2, which is key size is varies between the 1 and 2048 bits. RC4 key size varies between the 1 and 2048 bits, which is especially used in the wired equivalent privacy in the wireless networks. RC5, which can be having defined key length, can have user defined key length. RC6, it will vary from the 128 bits to 256 bits. And advanced encryption standard, which will be having the varieties of 128, 192, 256 bit key length encryptions. Twofish is 128 to 256 bit key length. So these are some examples of the symmetric key algorithms. Now we'll move on to the asymmetric key algorithms. So here, classes of the public key algorithms are public key distribution schemes, public key encryption schemes, signature schemes. So these are the 3 major categories of the public key algorithms. One is public key distribution scheme. Next one is public key encryption schemes. Next one is signature schemes. As we have discussed previously, we'll see the signature concept afterwards. That means after discussing the asymmetric key, we'll see the signature scheme. First of all, I want to create a scenario. So to understand this public key algorithms, just to recall the bank lockers. For example, if you want to preserve some valuable ornaments or valuable things in the bank locker, you are supposed to open an account in the bank and you need to request for the locker. Whenever you request for the locker, the manager will check for the eligibility conditions and all. Then once the eligibility conditions are satisfied, then a locker will be allotted to you. The allotted locker will be having two keys. One key, okay, the locker will be opened. That locker that we are having allotted to you will be having two keys. Okay, that keys, in that key, one key will be with the manager, one key will be with the customer. Okay, the key that is the customer is holding is the private key. That means unless until that private key is not there, customer cannot open that locker. Even no one can open that locker. The another key is the public key, which is holded by the manager. That means if you want to open your locker, you need to have your own key that is given by the bank to you, and also the manager key also required to open the locker. The manager key will maybe mostly common with all other lockers, but the customer key is private and should be retained only with the customer. That key should not be given to anyone. So this is said to be private key. I hope this scenario might have understand. So to have a bank locker and to open the bank locker, you need to have two keys. One key is with the manager and another key is with you. That key that you are holding is said to be the private key because with that key you cannot open any other locker. Okay, to open your own locker you need to have the particular key, but the manager key which is there may also fit with other lockers. Okay, and can open the other lockers, will also useful in opening the other lockers, provided if other locker key is available with you. That means the manager key is the global one or public one, and the key that is supplied to you is the private one. The same concept will be applicable in the cryptography also for encryption and decryption. We have seen in the symmetric key encryption that for both encryption and decryption we will use the same key. Understand, or you just think of what will happen if the key is lost. That means what will happen if anyone knows the key. Then it is very easy for you to get the encrypted messages or ciphertext decrypted. But here in this case, even though you lost your customer key, unless until bank manager key is not there, you cannot open the locker. If bank manager lost the key, unless until your key is not there and bank manager key is not there, you cannot open the locker. That means there is no one key to open the locker. Okay? You will be having your own key, that is private key, and manager is having the public key. Unless until both are not there, the locker cannot be opened. That is the concept used in the public key algorithm. Now the question comes to how to generate this public key and private key. The public key and private keys will be generated using the public key distribution schemes. There are many public key distribution schemes are there. They are responsible for generating the keys and distributing the keys. And these distribution systems or schemes will be having the algorithms of the generation will be with the complete randomness. You cannot predict what kind of keys that will be generated. So once they are generated, they will be distributed. Okay. Every user is supplied with the key pair public key PK and SK means secret key. Secret key. PK is public key. Anyone can know this key. SK is the secret key. Okay. Only it should not be given to anyone. Okay. So if you want to perform communication in the network, then the public key distribution scheme will give you a pair of keys. What is this pair? It consisting of one public key and one secret key. This secret key should not be given to anyone by you, but you can share public key with anyone. Okay. The key pair is unique to each user. For example, you have joined the network and the public key distribution scheme will give you the PK and SK to you. If I join the network, the public key distribution scheme may give me a PK and SK. And whatever the PK and SK given to you is not unique is not equal to my PK and SK. Okay, that is what the thing. Key pair is unique to each user. Both keys are used for encryption and decryption. You can do encryption and decryption with any of these keys. Two methods: encryption many to one, signature one to many. That can be done with this particular key pairs. That is public key and secret key pairs. While doing encryption, anyone can encrypt message using public key because I can share the public key to anyone. So anyone, if they want to communicate with me in a secret way, they can use my public key and can encrypt the message and can send to me. Okay, anyone can encrypt the message using public key. Only the intended receiver decrypts using the secret key. So, for example, person A wants to send message to person B. Person A will take the public key of person B and will encrypt the message. And that message will be sent to the B. Now B has to use his private key to decrypt it and to get the plain text. I hope you have understand by this time. Encryption means anyone can encrypt using the messages using the public key of the intended receiver. But the intended receiver, upon receiving the message, has to decrypt it only with the help of the secret key that he is having. Next, signature is one to many. Signature means who will put the signature? Yourself will put the signature or some other people will put your signature? Obviously, you have to put your signature. So that is the reason we'll call it as one to many. Whereas encryption is many to one. That means anyone can encrypt the message that which is intended for the receiver and can send to you. As a receiver, you have to decrypt it with the help of your secret key. But in case of signature, you have to put your own signature. So, signature encryption will be done using the secret key. Okay, I have to encrypt the message with my secret key so that anyone can verify using my public key. Verification will be done by anyone using the public key. So, signature is the opposite of the encryption. Or we can say encryption is the opposite of the signature. That is the reason here we have mentioned that both keys are used for encryption and decryption. The public key distribution scheme will generate the keys in such a way that it will be amicable for both encryption and signature. So finally, understand here, encryption means anyone can encrypt the message using the public key. Only the intended receiver decrypt using secret key. Signature, encryption will be done using the secret key. Verification will be done by anyone using the public key. For example, if I have encrypted using my secret key, If anyone knows my public key, so public key is public only. The name itself telling you that it's public. If anyone knows the public key, they can easily verify whether really I have signed this particular message or not. So thereby what will happen in future, I cannot deny that I have not sent this message. Thereby the non-repudiation property can be achieved. So that is what we call signature. Okay. So RSA is a very popular public key algorithm in the wired networks. So this is the general introduction of the public key cryptography. We'll see some more concepts in the next lecture.